living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.
What's going on here, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into the Sunday Game Day show with myself, Tanner Dawson of the Sports with Foods and Whiskey Sports Podcast. And of course, join with me is Nick Botkins of the Botkins Show. Nick, what's going on, dude?
What's up? Great eventful day yesterday on the 3 games and another full slate today. So, man, that's one thing you got to love at the end towards football. We get it all weekend long.
Yeah, and especially this year is a lot more drama happening each week, it seems. So, and of course, always co-hosting with us is Johnny Cruz at the Yankee Fin. Johnny, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
You all right? You doing all right?
I'm good, man. My team showed up to play. And that's you know what I'm saying, that was my biggest thing is don't have a third consecutive, crappy game. You know what I'm saying? They came to play, they had every opportunity to win that game. And you know what I'm saying, the Bills made a couple more plays than we did, but we definitely competed, and that's a good sign going into this last stretch. But now every game is even that much more important. So I'm gonna be rooting for a lot of people to lose today, boy.
Yep, Sundays are starting. Saturday and Sundays, I guess, are starting to get a lot more important now for a lot of teams. So, guys, we got quite the slate today, of course, as Dan always puts together such a great lineup. If you guys didn't catch me, I was on with Rob yesterday, doing a game day show on Saturday, and we had a pretty solid lineup. So, excited for today's guys. So let's dig into it here. Let's bring in the one and only Scott. Scott, what's up, man?
What up?
Johnny's rooting against my team, I think, today. So
I think he is. I have to now. I got to root against you, the Jets, the Chargers.
Nick, it's hard to fill in your shoes, buddy, last week. So
Hey.
That was good. So we got fantasy playoffs are underway. Obviously, we're already 4 games in. Lots of stuff that happened. What do you got for today here? Some guys to watch for, some guys to maybe sit, maybe some changes. What do you got?
So I think today is the Isaiah Pacheco coming out party against Houston.
That'd be cool.
I think he's going to run for a lot of yards, maybe a touchdown or 2. And Kansas City should be able to win that game pretty big, even though last week we were saying that about Dallas. But
I was like pretty disappointing last week. So
absolutely. The other guy, I think it's Alvin Kamara Day today as well. I think he's coming out as well. I think they're going to get him involved early, often, and to a great extent today. So look for Alvin Kamara to have a huge game today. In terms of sits, there's not really anybody you should really think about sitting, especially in the first round of the playoffs, but lower expectations on a guy like Davante Adams, who I think the Patriots are going to focus on to try to slow down today. Any of those top end wide receivers, Mike Williams might be a little bit slowed down today for the Chargers. The other guy I think you should play is Keenan Allen today. Keenan Allen's going to have a huge game. That's Justin Herbert's security blanket. So
yeah, we saw that kind of last week too on that.
Yep.
And Derrick Henry will go off today.
I hope so.
More than usual today. I think you're looking at the Chargers Tennessee game being something of a weakness against weakness type of team. Titans' weakness is in the secondary, but I think they'll slow Mike Williams down, which will allow Keenan Allen to flourish. And I think the Chargers' weakness is the running game and stopping that. And Derrick Henry is the perfect thing for that. So
nice.
That's true.
All right, what's a good turn it into betting, because now I want to make some money since I lost that game last night. I want to make today a little more interesting. Is there a bet? I mean, there's never a lock, but what is a very good bet that you would tell an amateur bettor to take a look at?
Well, in all honesty, I took the Dolphins with the points last night, so I'm happy with that. I knew it was going to be a close game, and I knew it would go down to the wire, so I was really happy with that. Today, almost lock would probably be. Let me look at my notes here. We've got another question. Ask it away while I get my notes.
Hey, yeah,
here.
go ahead, Scott. I'm gonna while you're looking, I'm in a real bind fantasy wise. The guy I went against, am going against, had George Kittle, who demolished on Thursday night 8. I already had 3 guys play in Diggs, who only got 10, Njoku and Ayuk, who failed to get me 10. So I'm in a real spot. 3 guys I've already played 3 guys, and he's only played 1. It's got 26. Is there any guy I can bank on my roster having a big day, whether it's Joe Mixon, Amon St. Brown, or D-Hop, maybe Fournette? And what's the Packers? Do you know the Packers running back situation with Dillon and Jones? Because I know Jones is banged up. Should I go ahead and put Dillon in or wait till tomorrow to kind of see what happens?
I would put Dillon in because I think the Rams are going to make a lot of business decisions tomorrow night. I'm not stopping guys where it's going to be 18 degrees and cold. So I would put Dillon in. Mixon, you have to start. Tampa Bay's defense is way overrated. Look what they did with Brock Purdy last week. Gave up 35 points to them. So they are way overrated in my estimation. So Joe Mixon should have a decent to good day against Tampa Bay this week. You have to play him. It's fantasy playoff.
Should I play Jones or bench Jones because he's banged up and play Dillon, or should I bench Fournette and then go ahead and play Dillon?
If you have both Green Bay Packers running backs, I'd stick one in and see if Jones is active. If Jones is active, you play him over Dillon. So
all right, that's the roster I got. I got Dillon on the bench, and then just kind of seeing what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, the game that I would bet on today would be, as strange as it sounds, would be Washington over the Giants tonight. I'd put a lot of money on Washington tonight to win that game. I just think the Giants are on this free fall right now, and they're on the big time slide, like Seattle. Seattle and the Giants are the 2 teams that started off really well because of their schedule, and now they're playing tougher teams, and now they're starting to fade. So,
in the words of Denny Green, they are who we thought they were. In the words of Denny Green, they are who we thought they were.
Saquon says he feels great. Okay, you feel great. One hit to the upper body, and you could be back to feeling not so great with your neck. So, it's Washington tonight. I think Washington's going to win that game. I think they're gonna make the playoffs this year. As crazy as that sounds,
even though it's a divisional game, you got total confidence in Washington.
If Washington had beaten them the first time, I wouldn't have so much confidence. But because it was a tie, I have a little bit more confidence, and it's at Washington too. That's the
and you got to think about it too. Washington had the bye last week. They got a little recovery time. Giants went out and had to lose again. So, and they're beat up too on that side of things. So yeah, I like that Washington bet. I'm in for it.
Yeah,
-4.5 for Washington right now on most lines.
Yep.
Are you taking the points?
I'd say,
or so you giving the points here? Or are we going money line on that game?
You would go points.
I'd go points. Yeah, I'd go points.
It'd be -110.
Yeah, because I just think that Washington is that team that's hot at the right time in the NFC right now, and that says a lot going in for a playoff push. Whoever is hot at the right time is going to make the playoffs. So when you look at somebody like, I'll give Johnny's team, Miami, they turned themselves around last night. They were sliding a little bit, and they played really well last night. I was really impressed with how they played in an atmosphere where there was snow, cold,
snowballs,
crowd, snowballs,
right,
and singing "Let It Snow" and everything else. So I was highly impressed with what Miami did last night. Jalen Waddle showed up big time last night too.
Yeah. I was going to say that too, Scott. Like a sport I talk a lot about is MMA. And like when a guy loses, you say his stock didn't fall in that loss. Miami's stock did not fall in that loss last night.
Absolutely.
If anything, it gave you a little bit more encouraging because like they're going to have to go on the road in the playoffs, and they showed that they can go up and really give themselves a good chance to win. So I would say that their stock stayed the same, if not rose, even in the loss, because I mean, after those 2 California trips going 0-2 in California, you were kind of down on them, especially the way they played on Sunday night against the Chargers.
And they're at home now, Christmas Day against Green Bay. That's a winnable game. They win that game. They're going up to New England in an all-important game. You know, I think they're going to beat the Jets at the end of the season. So that New England game could be for the number 6 seed in the AFC. That's the way I'm looking at it right now.
Those last 2 games could be loser stays home for the playoffs, winner advances.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
That's why it's really important that Miami wins this game against Green Bay.
Green Bay, yep. Yeah, I was just thinking that too. It's just,
come on,
like we
baby. We need a spoiled Johnny's Christmas, baby.
Yeah.
We got CK Landis. He says halftime of World Cup. Watch NFL Game Day preview. We always appreciate you tuning in. Messi's up 2-0. You know, I'm not one of a World Cup kind of guy. Like, I'm not a soccer or football.
I followed it. Been watching Argentina. I thought Brazil early in the grades looked like the best, but Argentina Messi's trying to get it done here. So
nice.
Yeah,
that was. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, Scott. That was my biggest thing, is that the Dolphins needed to show up. You know what I mean? They needed to make up for the last 2 weeks. They had every opportunity to win that game. They just fell a little short, but they definitely showed that they can compete on the road in a hostile environment against obviously a great team. So, yeah, they definitely got to handle their business at home against Green Bay, and then at least take one of the 2 of New England or the Jets. So it's going to be interesting going on the stretch. But, yeah, now we have to worry about what other teams do, that's the part that sucks. But
right. And all their playmakers showed up last night. Tyreek, Waddle, Mostert, Tua. They all showed up last night, and that's a big thing for them. So
I want to ask about the early
go ahead.
game. Oh, sorry.
No,
I want to
go
ask
ahead.
about the early game, the Colts and the Vikings game. I mean, it looked like the horseshoe had fallen out of the Vikings' asshole, but I guess it got shoved back up there at halftime. I mean, are the Vikings just the luckiest team of the year? I mean, they find ways to just. I mean, are the Colts just like, I don't know if Minnesota won that game, the Colts lost that game. I mean, what's your guys' kind of thoughts, Scott? What's on that game yesterday? Is Minnesota like? I don't know what to make of the Vikings.
I have 4 names for you. I have 4 words for you: Matt, Ryan, Jeff, Saturday. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
All you need to know.
Yeah.
The luck of Matt Ryan to have 2 records, one in the Super Bowl, one in the freaking regular season. That guy has just awfulness right now. I don't know.
His career has slid so much so quickly. It is crazy. I mean, he's probably going to get released at the end of the year, and he could retire. That's what I'm looking.
I don't blame the guy for retiring.
No, I don't either.
Go home, hang out.
You got to realize, as soon as 28-3 happened, and they lost that game, it just has been a free fall for him.
Yeah, he's never been the same after that.
No.
All right, I got one final question before we let you go. So we have most likely a potential pair of backups coming into play here. You got Desmond Ridder over there in Atlanta starting rookie, and then you got Zach Wilson most likely starting here for the Jets. What I guess which fantasy piece do you like more, Drake London or a Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore stuff?
I'm sorry, Garrett Wilson owners, for this. It's Drake London. I mean, what you saw before the bye is a precursor to what I think you're going to see these last three games for him, which is a little bit more targets, a lot of yards, and a lot of catches. I think that Atlanta needs to see what they have in this kid if they don't know already, because when Pitts was there, he was very limited because they were trying to get Pitts going. Pitts has been out of the picture. He started to creep his way up into the top 3 rookie wide receiver conversation. I just think you got to see. And Desmond Ridder is a running quarterback, which may help Drake London a lot because teams may try to stop that and go one-on-one with Drake London. So, with Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson, he didn't target him before.
Scary situation.
It's very scary, especially, teams in the playoffs are counting on Garrett Wilson to come back with wide receiver 2 numbers. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know. And the Jets could be the team that fall out of the playoff race because I have no confidence in Zach Wilson winning games at all. So
It's true. It's true. All right, Scott, man, we're gonna let you go. We appreciate you talking fantasy, talk a little sports
thing.
betting. I always appreciate hopping on. So,
Absolutely.
guys, make sure you go follow Scott on Twitter, sjcobe1. It's great content, great guy to talk to. Send some questions that way. So, I appreciate it, Scott.
Have a good morning. Good luck, everybody, in the
See you,
playoffs.
Hey,
Scott.
All right,
you
Scott.
too, man. Thank
Have
you.
a good one, bud.
Good luck,
Talk to you later,
kid.
man.
See you, man. Scott, guys, it's always great to
Yeah,
talk to him.
it's gonna be interesting to see if the Lions have been putting up a lot of points. It's gonna be interesting to see what they could do against this Jets D, because that Jets D is for real.
That Jets D is good, but here's the thing: is can that offense give the Jets defense enough break and not have a 10-minute differential of possession time? So
that's what I was gonna say. It's gonna be gonna be up to Zach Wilson.
That's the whole point of what 49ers are about. So
can their offense score with the Lions? Like the Lions are probably
well, we know that's not happening even with Mike White.
Right.
With Mike White, they were scoring though. They were scoring.
They weren't scoring the points the Lions were.
No, I mean, but they look at the Minnesota game, right? Like they scored 20 plus points a game. Like there's been an uptick with Mike White at the helm.
Oh yeah, there's an uptick.
Than there has with Zach Wilson.
If they score 21 or 24 points, I think they beat the Lions. I don't think the Lions are going to put up 20. You think
you're talking about almost the number one offense? Almost the number one. That's like top 5.
Whatever, you're talking about Jared Goff
production,
not in the dome,
production
elements against a very good team.
Get out of here, Johnny. Get out of here. You're still heading over for the Dolphins.
You really think the Lions are going to put up a lot of points?
Yeah, okay. I do.
I don't think so.
What's that over under? That over under is 50 or 43, 44 and a half. Give me the over. Give me the over. All right.
Wow. I'd take the under.
I'm about to say I'll take the under on that one.
Let's
I'm writing all this shit down.
Let's bring in, let's talk about Cowboys, guys. Let's switch it up. Let's talk about Cowboys. Let's bring in Alan Perales. Alan, what's up, man?
Morning, guys. How we doing?
Good. I'm good. How are you doing today?
Just going off an overnight shift at work, and
that's always good.
Exhausted. But you mentioned, Johnny, that Miami finally showed up. If there's a team that needs to show up today, it's the Dallas Cowboys.
Big
after
time.
After what happened last week. I mean, yes, Houston threw everything, the kitchen sink, the boiler, the shower head, everything at us, and it's like
that was the trap game, right? Like up to last week, you could have made a case that Dallas was the best team in the league. The way they beat down Minnesota, they had another game they just absolutely. Oh, it was the Colts. They absolutely just beat down the Colts. Like they were like, you could have made a case at that point in time up until last week where they just got caught with the Texans. The ultimate kind of 2-trap game because they got a game today. Then I think they're looking forward to that Eagles game, and they got to keep the eye on the ball today. They snuck by last week, but this is kind of their 2-trap weeks as they look forward to that Eagles game.
And kind of harken back on his Packers days. One thing that Mike McCarthy has told this team is don't take the cheese. That cheese being don't look ahead. Don't look ahead to the Philly game. And obviously, last week they struggled. But the difference that I feel in this Cowboys team this year than in years past, if it had been the Cowboys team of years past, they would have lost that game. Yeah. They would have lost that game to Houston. If it was Romo, regardless if it was Romo or Dak, the team would have folded up. But hats off to the defense for showing up when they needed to. Hats off to Dak for that final drive, 98 yards down the field. I think this game against Jacksonville could actually be the game of the day, with the way Jacksonville's playing and with the Cowboys' potential in offense. This could wind up being the game of the day for sure.
Yeah, I think that scare by Houston was exactly what the Cowboys needed to wake them up so that they don't, fall into it. I think they win this game, not easily, but I think they control the whole game. I think they win by at least a touchdown or more. That, like I said, that Houston scare, I think, is what they needed to wake them up and make sure that they focus on this Jags game, handling their business so that they're ready and prepared going into that Eagles game. That's going to be a big game.
And with the win today, they get their playoff spot. Obviously, if they lose, they can still get in, which is kind of bad for me because I want the Giants to lose, but I would need them to win for us to get in. But I'm also, it's weird because
nah, man, just hope your team handles their business, man. I hate having to depend on other teams, which is what's frustrating about my team. But nah, I think you guys handle your business. I like what the Jaguars are doing. I like the Doug Peterson. I've been saying it for all year. I like the Doug Peterson, Trevor Lawrence. He's actually starting to play like the number one pick. But that Cowboys D is for real. And like I said, I think Houston put such a scare in them last week that I think they're gonna be on point. I'm not the biggest Mike McCarthy fan, like Nick knows, but I think they're gonna be ready to play and go at the Jaguars today.
The thing about the Jaguars, sorry, Alan, is like it's like good game, bad game, good game, bad game. Like, do you look at their last like 5 or 6 games? It was bad game against Jacksonville, against the Broncos, beat the Raiders, bad game against the Chiefs, great game against the Ravens, bad game against the Lions, good game against the Titans. Well, now it's the Cowboys, so that means bad game for the Jaguars. Cowboys blow them out, Alan. I think you'll be all right. Then we get the big marquee matchup next week.
Yeah,
I'm also pulling for Chicago today.
They're in Chicago.
If the Bears win, that game in Dallas next week could be for the East.
Could be
because Billy wins it regardless if they win or lose today. If they beat us next week, they win the division. The division.
Right.
But if we win and win out, then it's ours. So basically, the Cowboys control their own destiny at this point. Well,
for the most part,
right.
For the most part, yeah. I don't know this Jaguars team. We watched them the first 3 games or whatever catch fire. They looked great. They played the Eagles first quarter, 14-0. The team that we thought would go undefeated end up being 14 down first quarter, and then something happened. And then ever since then, Jaguars haven't been the same. Now they're starting to uptake it again. That's what I like about it. It's like the offense. It's like Lawrence's, all of a sudden something's clicked, and there's a lot more production within this offense. The defense is playing really good. I kind of, I think the thing though with the Cowboys is they're trying to figure out how to put all their playmakers at one, going at once, like Pollard, the Zeke, the 1-2 combo there, because it seems like they're still fighting themselves either to run with the ball with Pollard, run the ball with Zeke, and instead of just doing the combo. That's all you do. Put them both on the field and let them go.
I mean, they got away from it last week. That's part of the reason why they struggled. Is they got away from it
until the end of the game, and they're like, "Oh, wait, we could do this all of a sudden."
That's McCarthy though. McCarthy doesn't like to run the ball.
They're fighting themselves like he always does.
I've watched that so many times in Green Bay where like Aaron Jones, it would be like Aaron Jones should have a great day. Or even back when we had Fat Eddie Lacy. Like, then they would just be like, well, we're going to go away from it. That was working for a few plays, but let's just pass it the next 15 plays and get a bunch of 3 and outs. We'll punt it. And that's Mike McCarthy. That's a Mike McCarthy football team for you.
I mean, he's gotten better on it this year. He wasn't great with it last year. He's gotten better with it this year. Obviously, last week didn't work out. The Packers game didn't work out, but I feel like play action is going to be huge today, especially with them kind of an underrated signing and bringing in T.Y. Hilton. But I think with the play action is going to be huge for Dallas today. So they really, really have to get that running game going for sure.
I'll be interested too, like with T.Y. finally getting time to rest his body. He had a bunch of injuries there towards the end of the Colts career. And now he's not the main guy either anymore. I'd be kind of interested to see what kind of shape, what we got from T.Y., if it's one of those like, it's an old vet, he's gone kind of thing. Or if, hey, this guy had time to recover, essentially, he might, be a potential 3rd, 4th threat for this Cowboys team.
And from what I've heard, since he got to Dallas, him and the CD have been, working on a bunch of stuff together. So he's already got that connection with CD. He's already got that connection with Dak. So, it'll be interesting to see.
Right?
It'll be interesting to see what he does today.
It will be, and I guess we'll wait for inactives, but I assume he's playing is what everybody's
I
thinking.
I believe he is.
Yeah. So when we see an active, I guess we'll find out for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what kind of shape he's in. I know there's more talks of Odell, coming to the Cowboys yet. Jerry Jones isn't giving up on the limelight there. But what I guess what from a Cowboys fan thought, do you want him? Do you really want Odell?
I mean, if T.Y. Hilton has a good game today, then I really don't care. Because I think I don't know. I really don't want him because I think the chemistry with this team is already good. And I think if T.Y. has a good game today, I think there's no need to really go get Odell. So I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent to it.
I don't think there's any need to,
Right.
I know he wants a 2-year deal, but there's no need to go out and spend that money if you don't really need him.
Right.
Well, I think that could be a move made for next season more than this season because it sounds like he may not even play this season. Obviously, he's this guy who's coming off not one but 2 ACL surgeries in the last like 3 years.
Yeah.
So let him sit
and
out
people
the
are already
years.
saying Cowboys already came out and said, "Hey, his knee isn't as
Yeah.
great as everybody
Right.
thought." So.
Right.
It might be best for him and everybody involved. Even if you sign him and he doesn't play, maybe he plays in the playoffs if you're lucky. But then you just bring him in all offseason, get him the whole playbook. He's there, especially on a multi-year deal. So it may not be done for Odell this this year. It might be done, but I think that's a move you make for next year.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Also, Tyron Smith's back today, so that's going to be huge for the O line.
Yes.
They are putting him at right tackle. He's going to be playing right tackle today.
They're putting him at right tackle?
Tyler Smith will be left tackle as he's been all year. They'll switch Biotish and Peters around in left guard. They want to kind of keep that continuity, but since Terrence Steele went down and he's out for the season, they need a surefire right tackle. So it's either you throw Jason Peters out there or you have Tyron Smith who's just coming back. And
I mean,
it'll be
that's kind of weird putting a vet out there, though. A guy like Tyron Smith, like out to a different position versus a younger guy that you can swap around. That's kind of a weird deal.
It might be easier for the vet though to make that switch to go to right tackle than to
It
ask
might be
the rookie to do it.
Or it might be a disaster.
Yes, that's possible too.
I will say this: that last drive, they put Jason Peters in it right tackle at that last drive against Houston, and the Cowboys were able to drive down the field a lot better than they did, most of the game. So having that reliable guy, play at right tackle could help them for sure.
Oh, big time. Yeah. I guess that would help the key. Man, we'll see what helps with the running game too between Zeke and Pollard. Maybe it opens up a little more holes for Zeke to get through.
I mean, can you imagine that right side with Tyron Smith and Zach Martin? I wouldn't want to go against it.
No, not at all. Those are two monsters right there.
Yeah.
And I'll pass. I mean, even though they're, neither one are extremely healthy or anything like that, but they're still, when they can move, they're pretty good. They're monsters over there.
I think the biggest thing today, though, I think we got to see a lot out of Micah Parsons today. I know they're hyping him up a lot, but the last couple games he's kind of been non-existent. Was non-existent all game last week, so I think this has to be his, kind of coming out party, if you will, if the Cowboys want to have success on defense.
Yeah. I mean, he's also contending with Bosa for defensive player of the year, so. He needs to continue to show up.
Yeah,
I was about to say Judon.
Oh, and Judon.
Yeah, conversation too.
I like me Judon.
It's gonna be interesting down the stretch here, man.
Alan, what's your prediction, man? What's your prediction today for this Jaguars game?
It's hard to say because I think, like I said, I think it's going to be the game of the day. I think you're going to see 26-20, an overtime win for the Cowboys.
Overtime, damn.
You're keeping it close. Over under currently is 47.5. One sportsbook has 48 points. Bet does for that. So, I think it's be another scoring offense kind of game for both sides. I think Jaguars sneak in a few scores. Maybe ETN gets involved finally and gets a couple scores. So, I could see this being a pretty good ball game today. Defense making some key stops maybe late, but I think the Cowboys still come out on top.
I like the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys to cover the -4 too. So
gotcha.
Is that all it is?
Yeah.
Is just 4?
Yeah,
it's 3.5 right now.
3.5.
Or 3.5, something like that.
So
yeah, they should cover that, man.
They should, but so should the freaking Vikings. But I ain't gonna get into that. So ain't gonna talk about that one.
I was about to say, did you really bet on the Vikings, man? I would not have any confidence to bet on the Vikings.
I was the only one on the Wednesday show. I took Indy. You and Craig took Minnesota. I was on Indy Island.
Do you want to know what my dummy butt did here? Okay. Not only did I take the Vikings to cover the 3.5 points, I'd accidentally bet it twice. So when we got tied up, and I'm like, touchdown, and I'm on my the Gamecast on my phone because I was doing other stuff, and it like froze. The Gamecast wouldn't update, and I'm like, what happened? No way, this timeout's this long. What happened? Ended up not getting it. They turned around. Colts came back down around, and then they ended up kicking a field goal. So, yes, losing by 0.5 points on 2 bets because I was not paying attention when I was betting. So,
Johnny, you did take the Jags on the Wednesday show to cover on Dallas.
Yeah.
That's not.
I was gonna say I didn't think I took the Cowboys, but okay. Yeah, I think the Jaguars are gonna put up a fight. Like I said, I just think the scare of Houston. Like if the Cowboys don't come out strong and handle their business against the Jags, then I'm worried about what's gonna happen to them next week. If they're gonna struggle with Houston and the Jaguars. I don't want to hear the trap game stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to handle who's in front of you. It's one thing for Houston, but 2 games away, it's hard to call 2 consecutive weeks both for trap games. Nah, come on, man.
You can't have a trap game every potential loss, right?
Right,
It's just not how it works.
Right.
It's a trap month.
Yeah,
it's trap 2 weeks. You got lesser opponents. You're looking ahead. You're looking to the Eagles game. You got it circled down. You ain't paying attention to the measly Texans and the measly Jaguars.
If you think about it, you look at that Colts game. They were only up by 2 going into the fourth quarter before they, went on a defensive rampage there at the end.
Yeah,
True that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if looking at their, previous games too for the Cowboys, the loss against Philly, they came out and whooped Detroit 24-6. The loss against Green Bay, they came back to Minnesota and beat them 40-3. So, that this could be one of those eye opener, deals with Houston, and they could wallop Jacksonville, before we know it. So, it's definitely still a young and upcoming Jacksonville team, but something that could give the Cowboys a little scare time to time. So
this Jaguars team's going to be good in the future, though. I think they'll be a division favorite next year.
I mean, Calvin Ridley comes back next year, and he has a whole year of rest too. So this could be exciting.
There was something. Remember, last year before he got suspended for betting, he had taken a leave of absence already before. So
he was already on a leave of absence. Yeah.
So it's his heart and mind going to be into the game. So we almost have like a year and a half that we haven't seen him play.
Yeah,
because remember he left about halfway through last season, and then was suspended all of this year. And
I mean, if I'm Calvin Ridley right now too, I wouldn't mind coming back because of the promise that you're seeing from Lawrence Etienne.
Right. He's a Florida kid too, so he gets to come back down to Florida. So
yeah, I mean, obviously, if Urban Meyer was still there, I assume he would just retire. So because I would have.
Trevor might have retired if Urban was still there.
We're talking about Andrew Luck. Here's Trevor Lawrence for.
Yeah, right.
You never know. Calvin really could do what AJ Brown did for Philly this year.
Yeah, very possible.
Because they needed that big body target in Philly, and look what it's done for them. So
absolutely,
it's big time. All right, Alan, man, we're gonna let you go. We appreciate you hopping on. Go get some rest before the big game today for you.
Power
You know?
nap, man. 45-minute nap, man.
Power nap, grab some food, and
Mhm.
call it good.
All right. Thank you guys for having me on. This has been fun for sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
No doubt, bro.
Appreciate it, Alan. Thank
Have
you.
a good one, bud.
Thank you guys. See y'all later.
See you,
All
man.
right, man.
Alan's always a good time to have on, guys. So,
Yeah,
while we're still here waiting for our next guest to come into play, you guys want to talk through a couple of these games here today?
yeah.
So let's talk one that has still playoff implications. Carolina is looking to continue their reign and try to stay fighting for a chance for a playoff, and their schedule's pretty favorable. Mitch Trubisky is under center for Pittsburgh Steelers today. What do we like here? I mean, do you think Carolina can continue to stay alive in this playoff race in the NFC?
I think you can, just based off of what you said right there with Mitchell Trubisky under center. I mean, it was a pretty pathetic showing that he put last week. I mean, 3 red zone interceptions when the team was, the team was playing well. They had every opportunity to win that game, and Mitchell Trubisky literally lost the game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. So I can't trust him at all. That Carolina Panthers has a good young, fast defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if he turns the ball over at least 2 times today.
They said he'll have a short leash, so you could see Mason Rudolph enter the game. So Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
That's so
I mean,
I'm about to say
that's
that's wow.
That's even worse.
Right.
But I did see that they said, hey, even though expect Mitch to have a short leash, and we could be seeing Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer in there. What's the over under on this game, Tanner? Because I'd probably take the under because
over under
I don't
37
think
and a half.
Yeah, I don't think Carolina can score either, right? The Steelers defense, they're going to be able to stop the run. Carolina likes to be able to run.
Yep.
Sam Darnold isn't, he's maybe a half a step better than Mitch and a full step better than Mason and them's like he's no, the greatest quarterback either.
No, he's not.
I could see the Steelers, defensively making a play or two to win this game, a TJ Watt sack, strip, fumble, or something like that for the Steelers to win this game, or even a Minka interception or something like that.
Is this one of those games that you just stay away from as far as betting?
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I mean, even the over-under is really hard to justify just from the fact that, it's 37 and a half, and if you get a 21-17 game or something like, somewhere in that matter, if somebody scores 21 points, which both of these offenses are capable of doing this, between the run game and the pass game. So it's a really tough game to bet the over under, especially just for that fact that it's so low that all it takes is a couple breakout plays and, now you're in jeopardy of losing that bet. So really, I don't know. Let's look at the spread here. I didn't look at the spread yet.
It's what's going on? What's going on with Najee Harris, Joe?
He's banged up, man.
Is he banged up?
It's not the same Najee. You're going to see the same Najee probably till next year. So
he's banged up, and that offensive line has been atrocious all year.
Oh, it's so bad.
Right.
That was a problem going into
it got Kenny Pickett knocked out last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. AKA why Kenny Pickett's not around.
That was a problem we knew going into the year. They haven't addressed it. They haven't got it any better. That O-line is just, they have to address it in the off season. They have to draft O-line. They have to sign it. They got to be like the Bengals. Remember the Bengals the off season? Give us every offensive O-lineman.
I guess it's worked out now for the Bengals. Yes. It sure didn't work out the first 7 weeks.
But it takes a while. Any team will tell you it takes a while.
They're starting to gel.
Offensive linemen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it took a while. But that's what I'm saying. They just got to be like the Bengals and just go find – buy
get
every
bodies,
yes.
We'll get some monsters.
Sticks. Yes. Yeah. Go out. We're going to sign every offensive lineman, draft every offensive lineman, and then we're going to see who can stick around. Our best guys are going to be.
I mean, how great would it be for Pickett to get his, a guy like Tyler Linderbaum for the Ravens right now, playing lights out as a rookie. So we talked about that yesterday with Josh from does Raven stuff. So and you saw it yesterday. Linderbaum looked good.
Yeah. I mean, that's Iowa offensive lineman, baby. That's what
yes,
I was about to say, man. Ready to play.
Always.
They're taking fields and
they just they just got Yonda retired. Oh, we need another offensive lineman. Let's go get from the same school.
I got that
Iowa.
guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They can't do
Yeah,
nothing else in Iowa, but by God, they got offensive linemen.
Yeah, we could use a couple of those in Miami, man. We need a couple offensive linemen to help out, man. Definitely.
Right. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and move on here. We'll do our next guest here. Carlos, bring in, talk some Texans. Carlos, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, y'all? How's it going? How's your day going?
What up?
Yeah, we're good.
What up, Carlos?
Man. Oh, it's been we just Rios and I, my co-host, he should be here, but I don't know if he's coming or not, but he should
We'll
be.
add him in if he does.
We'll add him if he comes in. Yeah, Rios, we just finished a space on Twitter.
Okay.
Regarding, and so it was like, oh, let's go. How y'all going, man? I didn't get a chance to join you on that last week. I'm sorry about that, but no, man, I'm glad to be here with y'all today. Man, where can I start? It was there he is.
What's up, Rios?
There it is.
Join us late to the party as usual.
Gotta make an entrance.
Yeah, clearly. Did you at least bring a 6-pack or no?
Hey, you got
That's it.
We started our
fan, right?
Yeah,
You need something
have to.
heavier than a beer, right?
Yeah, you have to. That's like his 4th one already, and that's breakfast.
I can't blame the guy.
Yeah. Hey, y'all. So we man, where to start for today's game? It's not. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's not looking pretty good for us today. Of course. We're going against the team.
I'm seeing red. Yeah, the Texas man.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Literally, it's what is it? It's a 48.5 over under. It's awful. Yeah, it's gonna be a mess. There's no Damian Pierce. He's out for the season,
which is heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. But you know what? We're okay with it because let the kid.
Okay with it. It means Rex Burkhead's gonna be out there.
No, I mean, dude, but
man, Rex
remember, think
Burkhead.
about it. Our season, we got 2 games. Like we got 2 games, home games, excuse me, where it's like, that's got to be that we might as well start next season fresh off. Like Stingley's out for the season 2. We talked about how I feel like we were running Damian Pierce to the ground here, and then here we are. It's you gotta let the kid fresh, just finish it off. One of the conversations that we were having on our space was let me talk about the Chiefs first. It's gonna be an ass whooping. We are going to.
The Chiefs can't cover though.
I like that. Someone's still wearing Texans gear. If it makes you feel better, it's an old Tyrann Mathieu jersey.
It's like 32. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's the old Tyrann Mathieu jersey, the Honey Badger. And what's funny is that I got it from Walmart because it's not even it doesn't even have the Nike logo on it. It's just it's like Walmart. It's like 12 a.m. at Walmart. Yeah, I'll get that. That looks cool. Anyway, so it's gonna be a catastrophic game for the Texans. We predicted today. What was it? I said I was optimistic, and I said 3 to 42, like 6 touchdowns will be scored again.
Wait, what? 3? What? Do you realize that this Chiefs team? I'm a Chiefs guy. This Chiefs team just let Russell Wilson throw for 3 touchdowns last week. I mean,
he did. You're right, but
you don't think there's any chance the Houston Texans get one?
No, honestly. So last week the Texans, went against. Yeah, so last week the Texans went against the Cowboys and they used Jeff Driscoll to run it, which we hadn't done yet, which was actually kind of creative. I'm gonna give that to Lovie Smith because I'm gonna give that to Lovie Smith and that they used it. They caught the Cowboys off guard. They kept it really, really close. So as much as I bag on my team, I respected them for that. But I think that you guys, the Chiefs, are smart enough to know, okay, every time Jeff Driscoll's coming in, they're gonna run it because obviously they don't have Damian Pierce. They're going to try to get those extra yards. Our backups like Rex Burkhead, he should have been gone a while ago. And then we have another one, Awundawale, which is actually number 33, who, I mean, he's shown some potential. I had high hopes for Eno Benjamin when he came in, and he got let go last week. I think he only played 2 games, if anything. So we're definitely in the running game, which was our brightest spot. We're going to be slacking there. Yeah. And then obviously the quarterback position is already, up in the air. It's already bad enough as it is. So it's going to cause for either whoever they're using. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to do the same Driscoll Mills combination again against the Chiefs, but I don't think it's going to work. I feel like the Chiefs, like, okay, they reviewed that on film. They know, okay, every time we see Driscoll, there's going to be a run. I mean, now I got to admit, Driscoll did show a little bit of a really cool. He threw a touchdown to Rodgers, or wide receiver, somebody who was in Green Bay and didn't have a touchdown, I think, at all.
Amari Rodgers.
Amari Rodgers, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, how do you call it? And so we got him, and then he got a touchdown yesterday. I mean, last weekend. So I think. What's that?
It was like what, 34 yards or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. And it was pretty cool. Like, it was pretty cool because, like, I got to see we got to see a little bit of we got to see what a little bit of mobility in a quarterback can do, and that's what Jeff Driscoll did last weekend. So, Rios, what do you think, bud?
Yeah, it's gonna be a massacre. 63-0.
Look, I'm begging for these games to be a massacre, and they're never a massacre. I'm begging. The Broncos game should have been more than we should take that 27-0 lead and made it like a 40-0 lead. So, but instead,
what do you think?
Let Russell Wilson throw.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. What with the Chiefs, like with the Chiefs, what ended up making that happen? Like, how was it Russell Wilson having all these bad games? What happened? Like, what made it happen?
It's our young secondary and the inexperience there. Justin Reed and Thornhill in the safety spots, they have not been great all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Reed better than Thornhill, of course, but Thornhill's soft. Allowing guys to get open, allowing basically the underneaths to get the yak yards who want to play. But on the other side of things, it's Mahomes and team getting the 3 and outs. They're for some reason, there's a second half of keeping the Chiefs defense on the field instead of keeping the offense on the field. And they're not executing to get those first downs. They're not executing those long drives, to keep the other offense on the field. Like, I think that's the biggest key right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always a struggle. Like, the Chiefs have struggled both sides of the ball at times. And, we've seen obviously last week with the Broncos, but it's not necessarily scheme. It's not Spags.
Sorry, my dogs are going crazy.
You're good. It's not Spags or anything. It's legit just what our talent is. We got young corners, rookie corners, pretty much outside of Snead on the outsides. Watson and McDuffie, they're starting to feel the rookie, that long season come into play, and hopefully they can get their second win sooner than later. Thornhill, who's said he would be the best in the league, has obviously been a huge disappointment, and he's struggling with coverage too. And then Justin Reed kind of trying to do what Tyron does a lot, where they predict the plays and then blowing coverage.
We know we had him last year too.
I like Reed. Don't get me wrong. I like Reed. I think there's still time for it, but I think I don't want to say over analyzing, but he's instead of staying in his lane as long as he can, he's really trying to do what Tyron does best. Essentially,
he's like doing too much. Basically, he's doing a little too much. Yeah, we saw that here too when he was here with us. And honestly, out of all the people that how do you call it, that I wanted to have was him, was Justin Reed, and but we understand because he was a cool dude. Like, he was a cool dude here in our city and all that. But so I'm glad you guys got him. But it didn't, even when he was here though, it didn't feel like he was the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like elite. Elite, leader that you want, like a Tyron. Right. When you had Tyron, it was you guys had him, we had him, and it felt like you had a leader in that secondary that you could count on. Justin Reed hasn't filled that role.
Exactly. It's like he's trying to get there, but then you realize he's been in the league a little while now. So and you haven't cemented yourself as like a leader or being to that level. And don't get no disrespect to him at all, but like he's a great player to have on your defense for sure. But he's not. I don't think at least he's the guy.
And not everybody is, right? Like, L'Jarius Sneed, who's been here a couple of years now on the corners, he could be step and be the guy, but he probably doesn't want to be the guy. Tyron loved being the leader. Justin Reed's probably like, hey, I'll help you guys out, but I don't want to be, he doesn't want to be, I don't want to say a leader, but you know what I mean? Like the captain of that secondary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't. He says, see, the problem with Matthew is the lack of willingness to be the honey badger and attack. He seemed afraid to.
Well,
tackle.
even more now in New Orleans. We've seen him, duck out on
Yeah.
tackles. Like,
Yeah,
we're talking about business decisions.
Yep.
Yeah, that's some business decisions as
That's
of
a
in New
business
Orleans.
decision.
He would miss a lot of tackles. Like there would be times he was willing to attack. Other times he's, you pull a Dion, business decision. I ain't gonna tackle that guy.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I'll shoulder him.
I'll put my arm out there, make it look good. But
Yeah, he showed flashes here, like the honey badger for like that one season. He was here, like he showed flashes, and I was happy when we got him. And I mean, I think the first game where I think he intercepted Brady when we went against that Patriots that first game. I don't know if it was the first game, but it was one of those games. He intercepted Brady like right off the bat, and I was like, okay, this is what we need as a Texas secondary at the time, of course. And so it's when we had Watson and all that. And sorry, every time I bring the name, it makes me laugh. Anyway, so yeah, it was a time. Obviously, we've shared players here and there, Chiefs and Texans. With that being said, it's just with today's game, I don't see a win for us clearly, but I think it's going to be a massacre. You think it's going to be a massacre?
it is.
Yeah. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think so. Sorry, Nick. I'm just gonna say between what they saw Houston do to Dallas last week and the Bills winning last night, like Kansas City needs this game to try to stay close.
Well, we're gonna win.
Number 1 seed.
I'm not
So
saying we're not gonna win.
yeah,
I'm just saying it's not gonna be a 60-0 ball game.
The margin,
not 60.
It's gonna be like
it's
38.
38.
Houston's
10,
scoring 21
38,
points
10.
on us.
Nah,
So
I don't know. Not with without Damian Pierce, you think they're gonna score 21 points?
I could still see something. Look, this Chiefs team.
I think the Cowboys defense is better than the Chiefs defense.
Oh, by far.
So
Yeah,
and we saw
by
what the
far.
Texans did to that defense. They put up some points. Here's the thing, like, and Tanner knows this too. Like the Chiefs just don't
I would
cover.
love that Tufel.
It's 14 points, 14 and a half. Like
Mhm.
I know I picked on my own show. I picked Kansas City. I don't feel great about it to cover because like it's the Texans, but I mean the Texans covered the Cowboys last week, and maybe that was just like the rival type game of Texas in Texas.
It was.
Yeah, that was their Super Bowl, man.
But
It was.
here
It was
is,
our
like
Super
the
Bowl.
Chiefs at 14 and a half. It's hard to lean towards the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs win the game easily.
Yeah,
But
easily.
14 and a half with the points. I almost want to take the Texans at 14 and a half, but because the Chiefs just don't cover, man. They just don't. Every game they don't cover.
Trust me, I know, man. They never do. Like, oh, come on. man.
It's painful. That's why I don't bet them.
Yeah, no,
It happens. I'm done. Like they lost me too much money at this point. Like, no.
Look, PJ Walker, right? We had PJ Walker, or not PJ Walker. What's his face for the Rams? The guy that they signed when Stafford and
Mayfield?
not Mayfield. The guy
Perkins.
Perkins. So
yeah,
Bryce Perkins
yeah.
first game, right? So that was at Arrowhead. With the Rams team without Cup, without Robinson, no Donald going to play, and they barely covered at the end. And it was a struggle in the red zone.
Titans with Malik Willis. They had Malik Willis in the Titans.
We didn't cover.
Yeah, didn't cover. Like,
yeah. It's one of those things, right? If this game, I know we got Seattle next week, but this game for the Chiefs versus Houston right here is like the biggest get your crap together kind of game.
Yeah.
Because now we got Hardman back. I believe Hardman's back. He might be back next week, but we got the guy from the Giants. Kadarius Toney. He's playing today. So it's more of like we got some weapons back, but Hardman wasn't alone. Thank you, Tufel. Appreciate it. We got some weapons back. So now it's more of, we had 3 picks last week against that Denver team. Let's clean it up. Let's get some execution in the red zone because we've been awful in the red zone too to score the touchdowns wise, trying to score touchdowns. So there's a lot of cleanup going into play. This game could be a really great game to build some confidence. Maybe try a couple different stuff to see if that maybe fixes some things. So I'm not looking at, I would love a blowout. I beg for a blowout, right? But I don't think it's going to be such a blowout yet.
Okay.
But I believe we're going to see a little cleaner, some experience as well. Tufel says Pacheco needs the ball more. This kid runs angry. I fully agree.
Sure.
I fully agree.
And what better way to do it than with the Texans' horrible run defense? That would be like great practice for him. Like seriously, he has to show up. If he doesn't show up today, come on. Like, come on.
Well, I mean, the Chiefs, right? They hold they held Pacheco out for like most majority of the fourth quarter last week.
Yeah.
And instead they just ran McKinnon. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are we thinking here on offense to not get your number one guy out there? Like, sure, maybe a first and second down or first and third, or something in that matter with Pacheco. Use second down for McKinnon. You can still work McKinnon in. He's catching fire, but I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff going on there. What's up, Tino's? Appreciate you commenting in.
Is Cooks playing? Cooks and Cooks playing? I know they've been banged up.
Cooks is out.
Well,
yeah,
we'll get to that, Tino.
I think he's done too. He's done too. He's looking for a new team, and he's. I think we've seen the last of how do you call it? Of Brandon Cooks with the Texans. I
was going to ask. Yeah, Brandon Cooks, Nico Collins. What do we see? Like, I know Nico will be around, but are we done with this Cooks deal?
Yeah, Cooks is done. I don't see him coming back at all next season. He's done. He's looking for it to get out of here. That's it. But Nico, I think, is going to be the primary receiver for
John Mechie may be coming back too, right?
John Mechie might be coming back. And again, if we go with this Bryce Young thing, which we should in the first round, you got John Mechie there, and you got Bryce Young and a Damian Pierce, so you got a little bit of a core there.
That was going to be my next question, not for nothing. Yeah. Is it definitely Bryce Young?
That's
the guy you guys want?
Yeah, every mock draft that I've seen, a lot of the media guys here in Houston, like the sports radios here, sports radio local, they're all picking Bryce Young as the quarterback for next year.
What about you? What about you guys? Like, would you prefer Bryce Young over CJ Stroud and all the others?
I would. Yeah, I definitely would. Would go for Bryce Young for sure. Rios, what do you think, bud?
I've been advocating since last year. He has to get the pick because I knew we were going to be terrible this year. I knew we were going to be number one. So it's Bryce Young all the way, man. Like,
that's stuck for a reason, right?
History says you guys take a defensive end, right? Like,
that's what scares me.
That's what scares me. Like, we love our team, but the front office, man.
Defense, right?
Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm, remember?
Yeah, right.
Who was
the George for Archie Manning?
Vince left. Didn't take Vince Young. Didn't take Williams. Yeah.
So Johnny, Nick, you guys have any final questions here before we let these guys go?
No, my main thing was to see their thoughts on the number one pick, because I know everybody's saying Bryce Young, but there's a couple other quarterbacks out there that I think are making a case for that number one spot. So.
Oh, I see this question here says, curious for the Houston fan, would you want to collect another car should LV dump him? No. I'll tell you that we had David Carr and we murdered him. We shouldn't take care of the guy. Now I know what you're thinking. Are you going to do the same thing with Bryce Young? No.
I think Bryce Young is better than Derek Carr.
Yeah, David Carr, but no,
both cars.
Yeah, both cars. Yeah, Derek Carr. I don't see him with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are going to go and pick a quarterback also. I wouldn't pick up Derek Carr. I think the dad wouldn't allow it. he was pretty adamant about that. Like, nope. Because we technically had a shot at getting him that year, but we're like, no. I think it's the year. I can't remember what year it was now. Off the top of my head, was it the Clowney year? No, it wasn't the Clowney year. Was it?
It was.
It was a Clowney year. Yeah, but we were going for Clowney, and well, that turned out to be the way it was. But there was talks about having Derek Carr. Like, would you have another car back here around that time? And Houston fans, the media itself here, and then it was like, nah, I think we're past the car stage. You know what I mean?
I think that's the right answer. I think that's the right answer.
No car.
It's a big no. So, all right, guys, we're gonna let you go. Appreciate you hopping on, joining us after your Twitter Spaces. So, where can we catch you guys?
So this week's show, we record Tuesdays, we release the episodes Wednesdays. We're gonna have it's just gonna be one of those shows that I really look forward to. Usually the other shows suck, but no, I'm just kidding. No, I like this show. I'm really looking forward to it because we're gonna go in depth a little bit into the Texans fandom. We have 2 guests coming in where it's like the polar opposites. I don't know if you guys have these and where you guys are, like, we have like the team where it's like, oh, our team can do no wrong. Let's, cheer for them all the time.
Yep. Every team has that, man.
Right. And then we have one particular one where it's like, I'm going to call out the team. I'm going to go out to the owner and I'm going to tell him to his face that he needs to sell this team or completely. So we're going to have both.
That's going to be good.
And then we're gonna just ask some questions. What do you think about the fandom? How can we bring back fans in? Stuff like that. So it's gonna be pretty good. I'm looking forward to that. So you can find us at JustFans22 on YouTube. Yes, you have to put at JustFans22 on YouTube. Yes, I know it sounds dirty, but it's not. At JustFans22 on YouTube, and then you can also find us at JustFans22 on Twitter.
Awesome. Nice. Awesome. All right, man. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys hopping on. Thanks again. You know, we'll hopefully it's a more of a decent game for you guys than you're thinking. So
I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Not for me, though. Sorry.
No, you're expecting a whooping, and I agree with you.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
So all right, guys. Thank you again.
All right. Take it easy, fellas.
See you guys.
All right, guys.
Bye.
All right, guys. Let's move on here. Last time we saw this guy, he was in the cold Tennessee with a nice, feather scarf, all decked out, ready to go. Yeah. Unfortunately, that game did not go as he planned. So let's see if we can do get another chance here.
I need him to make up for it, man.
Mr. First Down. What's up, man?
Oh, I've traded in the beers and dogs for just loads of Jack Daniel's whiskey to drink the last few weeks away. And luckily in Tennessee, we have plenty of it by the barrel. A quick thing, those Houston Texans guys run a great channel. I've been on there a couple times. They are fantastic. So if they're watching, love you boys. Keep your enemies closer. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Well, man, you got quite the matchup today. A Chargers team fighting for a playoff push as well, trying to stay alive in that. I guess, what are we thinking here today?
I don't have high hopes. The morale is pretty low in Tennessee. We all believe Mike Vrabel is a great coach, but John Robinson being fired was probably for this reason. The roster, there's only so much you can do with this roster. And unless they can really get Derrick Henry going, I think they're in trouble. It's proofs in the pudding, right? Look at these wide receivers that have wide receivers and quarterbacks that we just give chunk yards to all the time, converting big, long third downs and whatnot. It's just not sustainable. So morale is pretty low here. Of course, I hope for a win, but yeah, it's not looking so good, especially somebody as prolific as Herbert throwing the ball around or whatnot.
Yeah, but you're going against a pretty bad run defense with the Chargers. I mean, you would think Henry or even Hillard, one of these guys would take advantage of this Chargers run defense.
Well, they put Hillard on IR, so thanks for bringing that up. Wow.
My bad.
Wow. Anyway, but how dare you not know my team as well as I do? Anyway, basically, it's going to come down. Yeah, you have to get Derrick Henry going. If you're going to have any chance in this game, you have to get him going. The offensive line has been probably the worst I've ever seen it. And the whole left side of it needs to be taken care of this offseason. But it looks like they're going to let the guy they drafted for the right tackle position play left tackle today in Dylan Radins. Whether we see it or not, they haven't let him play it the whole time because I think the word about town was that he cannot be trusted. But anybody's better than Dennis freaking Daly. That guy is Swiss cheese. I mean, Tannehill and Henry are just getting – I mean, it's like I can't watch a play. And I'm sitting there at the stadium with my old bird watching binoculars looking down. And there wasn't a time that I didn't see the other team's jersey in the backfield. And it's just not good. It's just not good at all. Now, I hope they rally. I hope they run them down their throats, and then I'll be a happy man because I just need to win a couple here to seal up the division and then get drummed out in the playoffs. But you never know. We're all fans, right? We know exactly what happens in the playoffs. You can get hot in the playoffs and things can just turn like a pancake, like you're just flipping a pancake over. It just turns around just like that. I'm hoping we win today too. I'm hoping we can kind of trick Herbert into throwing some bad passes. But we'll see how we do. We have not looked like ourselves like we were when we were winning games in the year. Our defensive line, ever since we lost Autry, apparently he was the key to everything because that's it. And the teams have really been watching their gaps with Henry, and that has really bothered us. However, gentlemen, I remain hopeful that we can do this, and if not, well, I still have a lot of Jack Daniels up in my closet.
Yeah, I think Mike Vrabel will come up with a good scheme to try to slow down what Justin Herbert did, and he will not do with what my coach did and not run the ball.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're the worst run defense for a reason, and you've got one of the best backs. So I think this is going to be probably a little, that's the best way to keep Justin Herbert off the field too. Is just run the ball, and again, they cannot stop the run to save their lives. So I think Derrick Henry has a big game in this one.
I certainly hope so. Just do me a favor and just whip up on the Texans today, would you?
That's my goal, man. That's all I want.
I would appreciate it. But yeah, you're right. They have a bad run D, but it's just when you have these grueling 3 weeks that we just had, it's hard to get like really pumped up for something like that. I mean, the Jaguars haven't won in our house since 2013, and we let them go in there and they just mopped us. And I was in that stadium, and I gotta tell you, it's been a while since the fans were that mad. They were furious. But a lot of it is what I see is execution. You have to execute. Drop passes, the not blocking. It's got to stop. It's got to stop, or you're not going to go anywhere. So, but I hate being all doom and gloom. So yeah, let's go, Derrick Henry, run it down the throat. Blah blah blah. Yeah, cool. Why not? Where's my liquor?
For you. Is Taylor Lewan, you mentioned the left side has been trash. Is Taylor Lewan's days over? Is the boy gone from Tennessee? Are they going to cut him? He was realistic on his own podcast, busting with the boys. Said, hey, they're probably going to cut me. Like, I'm owed X amount of money, so I'm coming off 2 ACL surgeries. The boys probably is that the sentiment in Titans land? Is that the boy Taylor Lewan, he's done, or maybe does he come back and take a restructured contract?
So as all sports radio is, as far as I'm concerned, during the off season, that was topic number 1 when it came up this off season, and everybody has him gone. And I think it is too. You can't pay him that much money to be injured 2 years in a row. It's just not worth it. And we're in cap trouble. So I just feel that it's sad. And it's sad because there were some really bad years, worse than the last 3 week skid that we've been on, that he came in here and he brought charisma, he brought fire, he was talking to the fans, he was talking garbage, he was a wonder to watch. But you can't pay him to be injured and sit on the bench. However, if he's willing to take a deal, I would love to keep him. But we can't pay him that much money to just exist. That's just not going to be worth it to him.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and I mean, I even felt like after his first injury, coming back, he wasn't really the same kind of effective player that we saw beforehand. And I think that might be another key of his time's limited right now with this team.
Well, remember, he came out and said that his injury didn't really get worked out right in surgery the first time. So his ACL never really got fixed. So it's bad. I'm like, boy, that doctor's getting sued. That's the way my thing is thinking. But I am not worried.
It was the same way for the Packers. Like his knee's been screwed up ever since, and he just can't. It's a little bit of both, I think. And I think Taylor's going to go through that same thing, a mental thing and physical thing. Like, hey, I don't feel great. You may never feel great and like you did ever before that injury.
Right. Well, I think I'm not really worried about Taylor. There's so much charisma with that guy. You could put him on TV. You could put him in Good Morning Foot. You could put him anywhere, and and people will watch. He has a great podcast. He makes it work. But it's just another long list. Like you have you didn't go to Walmart for a month or something, and now you have to go shopping for everything you need. And so you're just, as a Titans fan, you're looking at this shopping list, and it just goes, oh, we need this, and we need this, and we need this. It looks like those old-timey guy that did your taxes. The paper just keeps cranking out. And what if Ben Jones, our center, retires? Then what? Now you need a new center. Now you need a left tackle. Now what if you don't re-sign your right guard? Okay, well now you need a right guard. And as the Colts have proven, having the most expensive O-line doesn't always cut it. You can't just plug and paste guys in there and think, oh, this will be fine. So this offseason, with a brand new GM and quite understandably Mike Vrabel having more control, is going to be an interesting one to watch. And I think it's going to be interesting enough that, heck, you guys might even pay attention to it. You know, the little small market team out here in Nashville. But if you're asking about offseason thing, there's a lot of people that aren't going to be on this team next year. I think that's just fairly obvious. Some moves we probably don't want made, and then moves that need to be made are probably going to happen. $2 million in cap space, it's just nope, not good enough. Not good enough.
What was the final breaking point for the GM to get fired? Because this was a Super Bowl contending type team. Then was it the AJ Brown game? Like from what I've read, is that Vrabel didn't want AJ Brown gone, wanted him to stay, wanted that deal to get done. The GM said, "See you later" to him, and then he absolutely just used on him in his revenge game. Was that like was that like the breaking point? Like, just wait till we play him. He ain't no good, or he won't be out there. And then like, okay, he scored touchdowns and 200 yards on us. You're getting fired. Like, did they make that bet prior to the game? And then like, what was like the final breaking point?
The Philly fans were flicking off the owner's box the whole time too. So she probably said, and we love our owner, Miss Amy. She says probably fuck this bullshit. But I think honestly, because when I first heard the news, which by the way came out on a Tuesday out of nowhere, this guy has drugged you out of the 2-13 mud, and now he's fired. And so we all said, why? But then you look at the last 3 years, right? Bad drafts. 3 back-to-back bad drafts. You've only re-signed 2 of the players on those, right? You didn't re-sign AJ Brown. That's one. I don't think he might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. From what I understand and what we here in the local media have heard and everything like that, it's a culmination of everything. We're paying Jadeveon Clowney to wear a Browns jersey right now. We're paying Julio Jones to wear a Bucs jersey right now. Bad free agents signings, bad drafts. And I would honestly say probably not letting Vrabel have enough input in the draft. I think that's what it comes
bring
down
anybody
to.
in, right? Like there's nobody.
Right.
You traded AJ Brown. You drafted Treylon Burks, who looks like
you got Robert Woods, who was injured last year.
Yeah,
right.
Robert Woods isn't that type of guy, but you didn't. Hey, as a Green Bay fan, I know seeing Devontae. You know what I mean? We lost Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, we have Aaron Rodgers, and you have Mr. Playmaker himself, Ryan Tannehill.
Hey, you leave Tan Man alone. He's put up with a lot this season. Honestly, I do feel sorry for Tannehill. He's had a rough time. I don't think there's anybody that loves football that would watch any of our games and go, "Oh, it's Ryan Tannehill's fault." I don't think that's ever come up. It's not like the Bengals playoff game last year, which was all his fault. I don't care what anybody says. But he has had barely any time in the pocket. His wide receivers, I think we're 3rd in the league in drop passes. I can't be sure on that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and they just don't catch the ball. And and that's got to be a gut punch because there'll be a big long ball 30 yards downfield, and you'll see Nick Westbrook-Akina or somebody put his hands on it and drop. And it's just unacceptable to me for that kind of thing. And I think that's another thing. Like I said, the culmination for everything for John Fox, right? Roster's not good enough. You can't contend. And I would bet it really wasn't AJ Brown. Miss Amy had an interview by lady named Teresa Walker on Twitter. If you want to see, it's interesting to see an owner speak every now and then. And she said it wasn't the game, but it certainly didn't help. So she had said that she was going to fire him a long time ago. And I think she just decided to go ahead and say, well, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. So
that's fair.
Right. So I don't care really what she says. She watched AJ Brown go ham on us, and she was like, F this. I'm done.
I'm done.
It's just funnier to think that.
Yeah. That guy used to play for us.
Yeah. Get him out. What's the good fella? Go get your shine box. Go get your shine box. Keep him here. Keep him here.
All right, so let's wrap this up here with you. What's your prediction today against the Chargers?
You know what? You got me. Johnny up there has me feeling better. He has me feeling better. He came over. He patted my shoulder. He gave me some hot cocoa.
Gave you a rub.
Yeah, no, he did the Mean Joe Greene commercial and threw me his jersey. I'm going to say it. 24-17 Titans. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Sounds about right.
Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate it. Build me up.
You're more than welcome. It's a little bit selfish on my part, to be honest. But you know what I'm saying? It's two-part. You know what I'm saying? Again, if you run the ball, which is what you guys do, and I love Mike Vrabel. I think he'll come up with something to confuse Justin Herbert, and he is not going to play the same game he played against us. We kept doing the same defense over and over again,
right?
Just thinking that it would work for whatever reason, and they just out-schemed us the whole game. So I think you guys got this.
During that game, I was sitting there like, well, they'll make adjustments. And it just didn't happen.
Right.
And I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. But anyway, while I'm here, I'd like to thank everyone in Colts Nation for taking that horrible Houston loss from Buffalo from like forever ago and putting it on your shoulders. Thank you, guys. Thanks for doing your part. All right.
Titans get down by 2 scores, so I think it's over. I mean, if it's a Chargers up 10 points or more, it's over.
It's over. Yeah, we can't come back.
No, there's no comeback. So, all right, man, we'll let you go. Enjoy the game today. Hopefully, it's a good one for you.
Hey, I'll take it. Hey, if anybody needs a Titans fan to bitch and moan on your podcast, I'm here for you. All right,
I got you, man. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Always fun to have him on. All right, guys.
He's got a lot of energy. He's cool.
Oh yeah, always fun. All right, let's talk. Let's get our final guest of the day, the one and only Italy Jet. What's going on, dude?
What up? What up?
What is going on, guys? What a morning.
Right?
What a freaking morning. Johnny, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Like I said, nah, man. There ain't no crying in football, man. Like I said yesterday, my main thing was they had to show up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they showed up. They played, you know what I'm saying? They had every opportunity to win that game. They showed that they could win on, they could play with the big boys on the road. Some questionable calls, I think, by Mike McDaniel. You know what I'm saying? I keep trying to remind myself that he's a first-year coach, so he's going to get better. But we had every opportunity to win that game, so it's all good. That after those 2 shit shows, for the lack of a better, the last 2 weeks, we came ready to play. And like I said, we had every opportunity, so I feel good going into these last couple games now. So I'm good.
Like it.
I'm good.
Like
it is what it is. The Bills are, I'm saying, that they were picked to go to the Super Bowl for a reason. You know what I'm saying? That's a good squad, and Josh Allen is just, I'm saying, he's the X factor, man. Those couple runs, and then that, I'm saying, just avoiding the rush enough to get the ball up and then get that pass interference call. That was it. That was the game right there.
Facts.
So legit, you got a matchup today here. Looks like Zach Wilson.
This is big now. This is even bigger now for you guys.
How we feeling, dude? We're still, still good.
Listen. I've been watching the World Cup all morning. I've been watching the injury report all morning, and I'm just like Quinnen out, Joyner out, White out, Corey Davis, Brandon Eccles. Hey, I mean, it's the Jets. What am I going to tell you? We're always going through something, man. We're always going through something.
Here's what I would say, though, right? Here's the silver lining. And for you Jets and Lions fans, it's December, almost mid-December, right? And here we are.
And it's meaningful games.
And Lions are playing for their playoff lives. Who would have thought that at the beginning of the year? 15 weeks ago, week 1, I would have said, "Hey, man, hey, week 15, you guys are gonna be playing for this is gonna be like the loser season's over. Winner gets to keep kind of playing type thing." So I mean, there's the silver lining.
Well, and I think overall, it's this team is too good to not make the playoffs. In my opinion, we're gonna see the depth that we have today. I mean, I still think the Jets have some of the best depth in the NFL, and we're gonna show it today. It's do or die kind of, because it's like we got to win these today and the next 3 games after that to even have a chance. Dolphins losing was nice, but also I need the Raiders to win. I need the Titans to win. So it's just going to be very interesting today. I hope Zach Wilson can do it. But I think if we run the ball really well against the second worst defense in the NFL, I think we'll be okay.
It's really, you guys are to me a year ahead of the rebuilding project, right?
I agree, 100%.
Like you're a year ahead of where you need to be. Like I would have said at the beginning of year 6, you're lucky to win 6 games, and that's like a good building block. And here you guys are again fighting for you're a year ahead of where you probably should be. A lot of that has to do with the quarterback situation, but going forward, hey, we have a defensive playoff team. We just got to fill the holes now. Going forward in the offseason.
And a few weapons on offense.
Oh my gosh,
some good weapons.
So many weapons, man.
Mm-hmm.
This Knight kid has come on the scene, has absolutely just been, you didn't even, and you made the trade for Robinson. You don't even need Robinson.
We don't even need
active, it seems like every game now.
You never know with that because injuries with us are it's just like the O-line. We're second. We had 6 guys out. If one more goes down, it's like, who are we going to put? LDT in there? We're going to put Remmers in there. We got Glazer. So, like, it's the depth's going to show today if we can get it done down the stretch. This is Zach's big moment, man. Like, this is his moment to see if he can establish himself, because I've heard Mike White was going to be out 3 to 5 weeks. Now I'm hearing just 2 weeks. So it keeps going back and forth. But, man, if Zach Wilson can establish himself today, next week, there's a quarterback controversy now for the rest of the season. It's a good situation to have.
White wanted to play today. He was going to
I know. 10 doctors. He went to 10 doctors to get cleared.
Let me play. Hey, he found out they were all Giant fans and not Jet fans. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
Watkins, you know better than that.
Oh man, yeah, it's 2 crucial weeks essentially for Zach Wilson, at least at minimum, and if he, even if he puts up a great game today, they still maybe lose, but the whole point, I think, of the Zach Wilson deal is you want to see something, you want to see the light, like, hey, he's got something, we got something going, like even if it's not a win. At least make it close, competitive, and get it to the weapons, and not be running around like he is and throw picks and not get 3 and outs. I think that's really the key today. It's winning. You got to win, of course, stay in the playoff race, but you also need to see something if you're going to keep Zach Wilson around.
And not only that, you can't be 1-6 in the red zone. I mean, these last few games we should have won. Like, we should have won these games, hands down. If it overthrow to Garrett Wilson at that very end with the Vikings game, this game with Berrios dropping it in the end zone, in the end zone, like these games we should have won already. The Patriots, I was thinking we would take 2, but now it's like we're crucial now, and I think it's just going to come down to see what LaFleur's got. I'm not worried about the defense. I know we got Quentin Williams out and Joyner out and Echols out. But, man, like I said, this depth's going to show to see what we got on defense. But this offense is still there. Like, we still got some guys. Like, Michael Carter is that what injury didn't look like it was something. So now he can play running back, run the ball the Bam Knight. We'll just got to see what happens because, honestly, it's the Jets. Like, each week is different. Each week is stressful. But my prediction, though, and people have been shocked with me because you've been going like 28, 30 to like 10 or 15. For me, I think I'm going to go with 14-7 Jets.
Lows. Wait, you're telling me one of the highest powered offenses.
Here we go.
You're gonna hold these guys to 7 points?
Yeah. Have you seen the Jets?
Yeah.
It's just been stressful. I don't know. People keep saying people keep saying like, oh, we're gonna run the floor with them. We hold them like maybe 9-6, maybe 15-10, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be low scoring too. We mentioned it yesterday on the roundtable show.
Right,
I think Jared Goff.
Yeah,
Jared Goff is going to remember that he's Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And he's not in his nice, comfortable
dome. I think there's too much.
Yeah. And I agree with what you said, Johnny. Yesterday about he's a dome guy, right? He's a dome guy. He doesn't play good in weather. And when he's attacked, just like Cousins, you know, he's not that great. So I agree with you what you say.
Yeah. So I'm thinking 2014 Jets. I think Jets hold on and win that game.
Man, I hope we win 30-10, but man, I'm just.
We all hope for that. You know what I'm saying? But
I need the Jets to win. For my
this guy, Mike White screwed up my fantasy team.
He did. Mike White screwed up my fantasy team by being hurt. So, but I have St. Brown on my fantasy team, so I need St. Brown to score at least 3 tutters today. So if it could be like a 28, 20, 21 Jets win, I'll be happy. So if because that gives me best of both worlds. Because I need for the Packers, I need Lions to lose, and for my fantasy, I need St. Brown to do well. So.
I'm going first one to 25 wins. So first one 25 points wins.
Yeah. I mean that sounds about right.
Are you guys all in the same league or no?
Well, we have one.
We did have a league, but I'm not. Yeah, my team sucks. So
gotcha.
I mean, I don't know if Johnny doesn't really play fantasy if you look at his team, if you know what I'm saying.
I quit. I took a year off.
Did you?
I took a year off, yeah. I was in like 5, 6, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. I can't do this right now.
I got 5 right now, and I'm in playoffs in 3. So
there you go.
Yeah, I need a big game from Garrett Wilson. That's what I need.
I'm in 3 leagues, made playoffs in 3, but really only one matters because that's like the big money league. So I only really care about.
Correct. Yeah, I got two big money leagues. I'm in.
I think for me, I also think for me, it's like they're getting Jameson Williams back. Sorry, switch gears from fantasy.
No, you're fine.
I think also too, like they're getting an all-star back.
Yeah,
like it's like getting getting a healthy. It's like getting a healthy Odell Beckham Jr. in the middle of the season, right? If he's healthy, if he's
before
cleared.
ACLs. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like they're getting an all-star back. You don't know what they're going to do with that. Like, and also like I believe in Reed and Gardner, but since you got Joyner out, I think Tony Adams will fit in nicely there. I think Whitehead if he steps up. But the thing is, it's all about the red zone and what LaFleur is going to do because Zach Wilson's got some wheels. He's proven
he does.
He
can
scored
run
3 rushing touchdowns. So it's like if we could get him going with that a little bit, but like Jameson Williams is just like that guy that I'm not worried about Swift. Williams is touchdown dependent. He's only gonna do good to be,
he'll pound it. That's all he'll do. It's just pounding.
Facts. So it's just gonna see what they do, man. It's just gonna be.
Is Sauce gonna go with Williams or is he gonna go with St. Brown? They put St. Brown out in the slot. I feel like.
Yeah, I would think St. Brown because of the height.
Right.
I would say because of the height because Gardner's tall motherfucker, dude. I've seen him in person. I'm like, damn, you're Sherman. You're a mixture of Revis and Sherman. Like it's just crazy. And then I think Reed should do Williams, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's gonna be a little interesting to see how things go. I mean, obviously the Lions, with Williams coming back, like you said, they're bringing in a new game plan to try to work him in. Yeah. The non-existence of Swift, unfortunately, has come. So it's an interesting deal, but there's so much. I think there's so much fire and passion, and they're so hot right now for the Lions team, and they're fighting. This team, and we see it, but this team is fighting for that playoff push, not, just to get in.
Right.
And so hang around for a couple more weeks at least. And I really think with, like you said, depth is going to tell a lot for this Jets team to see where they're at. And why not test your depth against a high powered offense that's been in a team that's been catching fire at the last, 5 games or whatever.
Yep. So, they won the last 5 to 6 games. They won against 3 teams that were like, okay.
Yeah.
But then there was 3 games where they hung in with the Bills. They beat the Vikings. But the thing is about the Lions, and I know me and Johnny have talked about this yesterday, is Lion and Paul from Let's Talk Sports. They're not good on the road.
Right.
But they're just not good on the road. So it's going to be an interesting game if they can win on the road, and the Jets are good on the road.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting deal for I think this game, honestly, just between all the Jets injuries happening and everybody having come in to the Lions to see if they can stay consistent.
Bro, if Zach doesn't give the game away,
then
the Jets win the game. Run the ball, keep that high-powered offense on the sideline, run the ball, play good defense like they always do.
Yeah.
If Zach doesn't turn the ball over, I think the Jets win the game, no problem.
Honestly, Zach can't depend on his legs if you're going to win this ball game, because I think sometimes he depends on running outside of the, trying to scramble and make something happen, and then nothing happens. So,
yeah, I agree.
I think that's where it comes to. It's like he has to have a target, quick reads at least, and obviously scramble. But if he has to, but like you can't get nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and overall, they got to put a good game plan for him. But not only that, his throws have got to be accurate. Like it's, I mean, you got Elijah Moore, you got Mims in there. He's a tall body. And then you can have Garrett Wilson in there. And then you got to get those tight ends. We got some good tight ends, but I just think the Jets need to go to school to catch a ball. Like this just lately. They just haven't been good catching the football lately. So if Zach Wilson to get back in these wide receivers' good graces, just throw one down the side to Garrett Wilson, let the fans go crazy and let them pump up for you. Because you've seen what they've done with Mike White. They're wearing all these shirts. They're going interrupting press conferences. Wilson, if you want to come back, man, do something like that, man.
I just think he's lost the locker room already because, like you said, I think that team and that
they did have a meeting though. They did have a meeting though, and half of them.
Bro, winning fixes everything, man.
Exactly. Winning cures everything. Yeah. Agreed.
So, all right. So, I guess what's your final prediction, Italy Jet?
I'm still going 14-7.
14-7. You're sticking with it?
I'm sticking with it.
I like it. All right, man. Hey, appreciate you hopping on here today talking little Jets. So hopefully we'll talk with you next week, man.
Appreciate
all right,
you
bro.
Guys. You have a good
Holler
day.
At me, man. Let me know later, bro.
Yep, I will, Johnny. Botkins, behave. And I'll see you guys later.
See you guys.
All right, bro.
That's another guy I love talking to every Sunday. So
yeah, he's a good dude.
All right, guys, we're getting wrap up here. Any final thoughts here on game day today?
Nope. Looking forward to being able to just crack open that 12-pack, and hopefully I can speak come that 7:00 post game show that I got to do later on. But I'm just looking forward to watching these games. It should be a lot of fun. That's the one good thing about when your team either plays a late game on Sunday or doesn't play that Sunday. I can just actually enjoy the red zone and just sit back and chill and just watch some football, man.
Yeah, I did forget a comment here to come back to. Tino's Time did ask us, so he got screwed by Chubb, which not overly surprised just because the Ravens seem to have Chubb's number anyways. But
I want to say Jones on this, but
Aaron Jones or Devontae. Honestly, I'd probably go Aaron Jones over Devontae because I have a feeling that Devontae and them they aren't going to be passing in the second half.
Right. They might not even be playing in the second half.
So that's kind of what my thoughts. I'm trying to look for more opportunities, more receptions and rushes, and I think Aaron Jones
is questionable. That's the only problem. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is Smith plays today, Jones plays on Monday night. You don't play Smith today. Jones is out tomorrow. That's where you could be shit out.
Yeah, it could be there. So
but
guys. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow below, comment below. We only got a week left until Dan's contest is done. That contest is you get a chance to win a jersey of your choice. Let's Talk Sports t-shirt and mug. And what was it? $100, I believe. You have to make sure you're subscribed to the Bakken Show. You have to subscribe to the Whiskey Sports Podcast, and of course, Let's Talk Sports. And Dan will select the winner. So you guys can check on Twitter. He's already done a few, got prizes to a few of his giveaway there at Let's Talk Sports. So pretty cool stuff. Make sure you guys do that. Just simply comment below. You know what? Tell me.
Absolutely.
You know what? Comment below here your favorite matchup today or what you need for fantasy to win your playoffs this week. So comment below, guys. Other than that, guys, let's call it a day. Let's get out of here. We got some bets to make. At least I do.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna get.
All right. Speaking of, what's that one bet? Like I said, I know you said stay away from Steelers Panthers, but do I take the Texans to cover the spread?
I stay away from that game too.
I'm not.
I'm joking.
There's no way.
As
scared as I am to say yes,
I stayed away from it as well. I stayed away from it as well.
14.5 is a big number.
Yeah. If you put a nice parlay, you could put a parlay, like a 5-team parlay, and just pick your 5 locks and add the Chiefs to that. That's that'd be all right. But I mean, the spread wise, if you're just doing money line, but spread wise, I'm staying away from that game. Yeah.
No, that's what I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put 4 or 5 teams together that I think should win the game this week.
Sounds
all
good.
right, gentlemen. Appreciate
all right, guys.
You guys.
Everybody have a great Sunday. We'll talk to you guys later on today. See you guys.
All right.
See ya.